Iverson at 36. Carter checked in with 35, but round one went to the Raptors, who have a surprising 1-0 lead over the Eastern Conference frontrunners. And welcome to Philadelphia, everybody. Dick Stockton, along with the D lineup, and only a smattering of boos by the Philadelphia fans during the singing of the Canadian national anthem. Not as vehement as the New York reaction on Friday night. These fans mean business. And so do the 76ers, because they have a very little margin for error losing the first game at home, but you have to say they take heart in a great rally at the finish.
Well, you're down 17, you close the gap to a -1, you're inside of 20 seconds, the game is up for grabs. Now, Allen Iverson came in with 36 points. Problem? 34 shot attempts. They need him tonight to shoot a higher percentage. Mutombo, very strong in the post play. 17 points, 12 rebounds, and a ton of blocks. Now, they also, as a team, got to the foul line 36 times, so they did some good things. The downside, 19 turnovers, and then the poor shooting from the field, as well as behind the three-point line. Now, three players must step up and give you better production. Now, you can see Hill at the power forward position, the 5 points with the 4 turnovers, only 4 shot attempts. Lynch was in foul trouble, the same scenario, with only 4 shot attempts. On the point, their main man and leader, Snow, with the 9 points, but 5 turnovers and 2 for 7. Dick, when the Sixers are on their game, these three guys in the trenches are putting up solid numbers.
Well, Allen Iverson didn't get a lot of help, and that's opposite to what Vince Carter got. The Toronto Raptors did a tremendous job of supporting him.
Well, when you look at it, you always say, hey, balanced attack. 5 guys in double figures. As a team, they shoot a high percentage from the floor, they shoot a high percentage on the foul line, and then they make 7 threes under pressure. They win the battle of the boards. This is a big game in the boards here tonight with a +4. Then off the bench, Steph Curry steps up. The 15-year veteran comes in with a 20-point night, making 4 threes. But the guy who makes it stir, Vince Carter. Terrific numbers. Not only the 47 minutes, how about the 35 points, high shooting percentage, gets to the line 9 times, and then the major plus, the 7 assists. Top all the statistics.
You got to be wary of these Raptors, because they have won their last 3 playoff games on the road, and that's a difficult thing to do. And now, let's go to a familiar face for some final words.
Thank you very much, Dick and Yubi. Yes, we're going to have Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors against the Philadelphia 76ers team featuring Allen Iverson. And I've come to stop the bleeding.
Weekend on Fox Sports.
And a big playoff game here in Philadelphia. They're used to it with this franchise as we look at tonight's Gatorade starting lineups for the Raptors. Vince Carter, Charles Oakley, and Antonio Davis up front, with Chris Childs and Alvin Williams in the backcourt. For the 76ers, George Lynch and Tyrone Hill the forwards. Dikembe Mutombo is in the middle with Eric Snow and Allen Iverson, as we send it over to D lineup.
Well, a guy that we don't see on that lineup right now, but we'll see shortly in the game, is Aaron McKee, who just accepted the 6th Man of the Year award, formally accepted it. Aaron McKee, statistically, he set career highs in 5 different categories, but that doesn't really begin to say what this guy means to the Philadelphia 76ers. He accepts his role all the time. Larry Brown saying, it's important for me to have guys like him around. Allen Iverson saying, this says that good things do happen to the right people. And Aaron McKee saying, in some small way, this award helps validate his career. Dick?
All right, well deserved by Aaron McKee, as Larry Brown, his coach, who says if the offense isn't quite as impatient, they can get it done today. And Lenny Wilkins, who said, let's forget Sunday. Normally you say we've got one. We have to go out like it's 0-0. Good philosophy.
Well, they're on top of their game. These two teams have played 5 times this year. Toronto has won 4, and they've won 4 in a row.
The officials are Joe Crawford, Don Vaden, and Derek Stafford. And set to jump, Mutombo against Antonio Davis, and Alvin Williams goes right in to lay up the first basket. That's the quickness that the Raptors bring.
Now, that's what you have to be prepared for. Toronto, very tough defensively since they moved Childs into the starting lineup and moved Williams to the 2, Carter to the 3. They're better defensively.
Yeah, that was in game 2 of the series against the Knicks. Iverson with a fall away hits his first shot.
Well, he started off that way on Sunday. Unfortunately for him, once the game progressed, he ran into a terrible slump, only 11 for 34. They're looking for better shot attempts.
George Lynch on the assignment of Vince Carter driving in, trying to draw the foul. Nothing there, and it's stripped away. Carter comes up empty. Iverson hits his first shot of the game. Here's Eric Snow driving in, and the rebound taken down by Vince Carter.
Now we have two teams that want to push it. They're both outstanding board teams. Great block.
Carter has a block, Mutombo right in the middle, and a volleyball effort right now, and it comes down to Lynch, makes the pass to Iverson, and he makes a bad pass to Tyrone Hill, but saves it anyway. Here is Iverson putting it up, and a helter-skelter opening, and it's exciting. Hill misses a reverse layup.
We have some athletic quickness here tonight. We have two teams that are rotating at the tops of their game defensively, and they are both outstanding offensive rebounding teams.
Was that a preview of things to come?
Absolutely.
We saw in the opening minutes. Charles Oakley gets knocked to the floor, and Lynch picking up the personal foul.
Anytime that Toronto is in transition, they run the quick hitters, the secondary break, and you must be prepared to chase Carter around the down screens.
This is the first time in their brief playoff history, 2 years, that the Raptors actually have a lead as Carter hits a three, and the Raptors are up 5-2.
I'd say he's got the total package right now. There's no doubt about it. Played 48 minutes in Game 5 in New York, 47 in Game 1, and he is shooting a ton.
Wide open is Lynch. That was a wide open shot, but it comes down to Philadelphia on the ricochet. Here is Iverson in the lane, tries to get it over to Lynch, picked off by Carter. Carter travels as he tries to get it around. Allen Iverson.
They're not going to allow you to carry the ball like that. This year, the referees have been consistent. And just keep an eye on this now. Toronto plays the passing lanes as well as anyone. You can see it right there. That gives you the advantage. You palm it, you take the step, you cover more ground.
A lot of people surprised that the Raptors were so sharp Sunday after the energy of winning on the road Friday in New York. So they're going to have to be a team to be reckoned with. Here's Hill inside, and he scores. Good pass from Lynch.
What that was a screen down by Hill, and all they did was slip the screener. And by that we mean if the man playing the screener steps out to help on Iverson, you go right to the front of the rim.
2.5 minutes gone by. 1-point game. Here is Childs, who got into early foul trouble and was not a factor, and Antonio Davis, who has been double figures in scoring and rebounding in 5 of the 6 Raptor playoff games.
You just love this game. He's really stepped up. He's had a career year in points, rebounding, and shot blocking.
Here is Snow going out to Iverson with plenty of time on the shot clock, guarded by Alvin Williams. Iverson pulls back and hits his second from the field.
So you'll live with that, Dick. You know, as long as you cut him off, and that's the goal of Toronto defensively. They want to cut off the lanes to the basket, force them to make the jump shot tonight.
Raptors, meanwhile, have hit 3 of their first 4 shots, and Alvin Williams is fouled by Iverson, and that is the second team foul on Philadelphia.
Now Philadelphia is giving you a soft trap in the backcourt. That is to get Toronto to waste some time back there and then upset them so they have difficulty getting into the flow and the tempo of their sets.
Carter trying to post up against Lynch. Lynch a good defender. 3 on the shot clock. Carter pulls back, and the rebound is by Hill. So the 76ers looking to take their first lead of the game. Iverson cat and mouse with Alvin Williams. Oakley defending against Hill. Hill backing in, no foul, and a goaltending call.
The ball hit the backboard, and it was hit coming off the board. That was the call by Don Baden, the referee, right on top of the play.
So Hill gets credit for the basket, and the Sixers lead.
And you're going to see, now is this a flop? That's what the fans say. Well, it looked like a flop to me. And you can see Vince took it right off the board.
Lynch nearly strips Carter of the ball, and here is Oakley hitting from outside. Oakley, who hit a big field goal to make it a 4-point lead with under a minute to go on Sunday, hits one here, and the Raptors regain the lead.
Yeah, Oakley is consistent through the year. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and he's doing the same, a little shy on the boards.
And the Sixers now lead 10-9. Oakley coming right back. Mutombo getting the rebound. So Iverson with 6 points for the Sixers, and they lead at 10-9. And Hill foul. Childs trying to come over and knock it away, committing the foul, and it was Chris Childs who picked up 4 personal fouls in his first 19 minutes of action, and never a factor, scoreless.
Well, if you notice, they're double teaming once the Philadelphia post-up player puts the ball down on the floor. The double teamer can come from the top of the circle or from the baseline.
Here's Lynch. Nearly lost the ball. Carter sticking right with him, and George Lynch on the turnaround. Cleared by Antonio Davis. Spirited first half of this first quarter in game 2. Raptors looking to go to Toronto with what would be a commanding 2-0 lead. Game 3 is Friday night at the Air Canada Center. Childs driving in, sees Mutombo, pulls back and hits, and Toronto's up by 1.
Well, you always love it if you got a point guard who can take it into the paint and then stop on a dime and throw that little fadeaway jumper. He feels that if he continued, he would have gone right into the strength of Mutombo with the shot blocking.
Already more points tonight than he had in Sunday's game. Here's the toss in, and it's knocked away by Davis into the hands of Hill. Hill with the fall away. And Antonio Davis quickly out to Alvin Williams with a foot race against Snow. And Eric Snow fouls Alvin Williams.
Now, Lenny Wilkins' game plan, push every single time we get a chance. Off of the steal, a block, or a rebound. We're pushing the action here tonight. And I thought they looked great in New York, and then they are continuing it here in Philadelphia. Part of their game plan. They have 3 guys now on the perimeter who all can handle and make the pass.
Alvin Williams, talk about stepping up in the playoffs compared to the regular season, and there's a player who was nearly traded on several occasions. Once thought Boston for Danny Fortson, and Lenny Wilkins put an end to that. And 1 free throw for Williams. We would like to welcome those watching in Canada on Sportsnet this game 2. Raptors lead by 2. Here is Iverson, who has 6 points, finding an open space. Rebound Childs. Raptors don't push it up on that occasion. Nearly halfway through this opening quarter. Williams, no basket if it goes. And the foul before the shot.
Yeah, they're not going to allow that on the baseline. Anytime Vince Carter is coming off the screen and coming on the baseline, Lynch caught him with a forearm. And referee right on top of the ball.
Second personal foul on George Lynch, so he got into foul trouble early on Sunday. And Aaron McKee coming into the game, and D. Lanham had the report on McKee, who won the NBA's Player Award, and actually did the yeoman work as a starter when Snow went out and Iverson during the year.
Well, he had a terrific season. Anytime you got a guy who plays 3 positions and can defend all 3 positions,
Carter with 3, his second of the game, and Toronto opens up a 5-point pole.
Now, you like the way Toronto's playing right now. They're holding Philly to 1 shot attempt. They're pushing on the break. They're getting to the line, and then they're making their perimeter shots.
Mutombo setting a screen for Snow, and here is McKee, blocked by Carter. Carter got a piece of Aaron McKee's shot, and here is Carter with a quick turnaround. Got it.
Yes!
In the air, a touch shot by Vince Carter, and Larry Brown wants to talk it over. And the Raptors silencing this Philadelphia crowd early, taking a 7-point lead.
Now just keep an eye on this. He catches this in the air and turns and finds the glass.
8 points for Carter.
Sixers have the ball right here on the point. They've already set 1 screen for Iverson. Now as Hill comes down and sets the screen, watch as Iverson comes off. Oakley, defending the screener, is going to step up to help. And now what you do is you slip the screen and step to the front of the rim. Keep an eye on Hill. See, once that guy curls and Oakley commits, now you go right back to the screener and you have yourself an uncontested layup.
Well, you talked about the balance of the Raptors. All 5 of their starters have already scored. They had 5 in double figures in game 1, picking up where they left off, leading by 7 after the timeout. Carter defending against McKee, driving to the basket, and an offensive foul. Charging is the call against Aaron McKee.
The defensive rotation on the back line for Toronto has been outstanding in the playoffs. Now, they lose step on the dribble. You think you got a layup, and then all of a sudden from the other side of the lane, the man is right there, and he's outside of that restricted area.
Antonio Davis and the Raptors have scored 10 straight points to open up a 9-point lead. They have hit 8 of 11 shots, and this is against a very fine defensive unit.
Yeah, well, they shot a high percentage on Sunday, and they're right in motion tonight.
Iverson missing the 3, and Carter getting the rebound. And now the Raptors trying to open a double-digit lead. Carter misses, and the follow by Davis doesn't go. And here's Eric Snow. Raptors back defensively. Snow will pull up and hit. Eric Snow ends a 10-0 run.
When Philly is on their game, they're forcing turnovers, blocking shots, getting out in the open floor, and scoring and being a pest out on the break.
Davis with another perimeter shot. And the Sixers trying to fight their way back. Remember, they were down by as many as 17 in game 1. And McKee missing a 3 with a couple of seconds left in an attempt to tie. Mutombo goes in and scores and is fouled.
Now that's the first time that they've gotten the pass over the top of the man fronting Mutombo. Every time Mutombo pulls up, they're fronting. Now this is just a beautiful pass. See, Davis is going to get caught on the top side right there. See, now once you go to the corner of the board, pass the ball to the corner of the board, because now Mutombo will catch it and it will give him the lead step going right to the rim.
Foul is on Charles Oakley, and Larry Brown telling us before the game, we just don't get the ball to Mutombo enough. We have to honor him because he works so hard, and he's got to get a chance here. As Iverson gambling for the steal. Raptors lead is now 4.
Now in game 1 on Sunday, Iverson struggled from the field, but he had 8 rebounds and 7 steals.
Good all-around game.
He was working hard. Unfortunately, the ball did not drop.
Here is Childs with 6 on the shot clock. Oakley on the tip pass. That was tough. It was a tip pass to Oakley, but he had presence of mind and made the shot.
Yeah, but Dixie, you got to close Oakley down. Mutombo just looked at him. Now you've got to go out there and force Oakley to put it on the floor, because very seldom will he take the ball to the rim.
Don't forget, coming up next on TNT Game 3, the Spurs and the Mavericks. Playoff action continues throughout the week on TNT Sports. And the foul is against Childs, so Chris Childs picking up his second personal. So a carbon copy of Sunday's game. George Lynch for the Sixers, Chris Childs for the Raptors getting into early foul trouble.
Now you like the fact that Eric Snow tonight looking for his shot. He loves that area where he's standing right now. From there back 2 steps. He'll always, on the break, get to that spot and look for the shot. If not, he'll continue to the hole and try to set someone up.
Eric Snow 5 for 6 from the line in game number 1, but still hobbled. Eric Snow with the stress fracture and never really got back to 100%.
Well, Larry Brown says he's about 60 to 70. He's playing with a lot of pain, and the only remedy is rest. And he said, look, he would rather suck it up, take the pain, and then try to help the team. Now, this is the first time that they've been very, very aggressive.
Davis on the baseline and good ball movement from half court in by the Raptors.
When you press and trap, you're looking for the turnovers, of course, but what you want is to force the jump shot. But tonight, right now, Toronto is on fire, Dick.
Here is Tyrone Hill with the quick hitter and the rebound by Antonio Davis. He has 4 rebounds already, and again a factor as he has been throughout the playoffs.
You gotta love the Raptors. No second shots for Philadelphia.
Here's Davis again. Antonio Davis now with 8 points and 4 rebounds, and the Raptors have hit 11 of their first 16 from the field.
You have to love it, especially with Oakley and Davis, your center and power forward, making these 12 to 17-foot shots.
The lead is 8 for Toronto. And Vince Carter trying to keep up with Allen Iverson, picking up his first foul and a timeout with 2:20 to go in the first. Iverson with 6, Carter with 8, but the Raptors lead by 8.
Thursday on Fox.
You're about to walk down the
135-foot water tower here in Philadelphia. He climbed the tower with a couple of union riggers to hang a huge 30-by-18 Sixer sign, and when they were all done, it took him about 3 hours. He waved an Allen Iverson jersey as if it were a flag. The method to his madness, he's hoping that people in town, Dick, will now decorate their homes in a similar manner.
Why is he such a couch potato? He stays home, he never gets outside, doesn't try anything daring. I don't understand this man. Kevin Ollie, the game for the 76ers as Allen Iverson on the drive now has 8 points, trying to bring the Sixers back. He's 4 for 7. That's pretty good shooting for Iverson. Raptors moving the ball well, as you see, with 9 assists. They've turned it over only twice so far. And there is Alvin Williams with a wild shot that hits nothing. Kevin Ollie ahead to McKee. McKee to Lynch. It doesn't drop, but Lynch is fouled.
Yeah, Lynch got himself in a bad position. We call that a banana turn. He was in the right-hand lane, and instead of making his cut to the basket, so if he received the pass, he could bank it in, he was forced to the baseline, and upon receiving the basketball, it was difficult. No bank shot.
Well, Vince Carter picks up his second personal foul, and he remains in the game, and Lenny Wilkins hoping that Carter does not. Now Del Curry is checking into the game, and as Childs goes out, so Carter stays in. He has scored 8 points, including 2 threes, and very crucial that he does not pick up his third foul. Curry, of course, with a great effort with 20 points on 4 for 9 shooting from 3, so the 36-year-old can still get it done.
Now Philly has changed the press. It's now man-to-man. All they're trying to do is kick seconds off the clock. No more of that little token trap, because it was giving Toronto open shots in the corners.
McKee guarding Carter on the turnaround. It doesn't matter who they put on him. He has been in a zone since Game 4 of the playoffs against New York. He has 10 points.
Nothing you can do about that, Dick.
1:15 remaining in the first quarter. The Raptors leading by 6. 9 on the shot clock, and here is McKee working against Carter, and here's Kevin Ollie. And here is Vince Carter trying to push it up as the Sixers get back defensively. Under a minute to go. Ollie playing Curry very tough, and that doesn't fall for Del Curry. And the Sixers coming up with 20 on the shot clock and 42 in the quarter. And the turnover as Iverson tries to pass it out, picked off by Williams. Crowd wanted a foul, and Curry missing a 2-point attempt. And here's Iverson again on the offensive side, and the charge is called. So they called a charge on Iverson instead of Vince Carter picking up his third.
I give Carter a lot of credit here, because we're right on that same plane. Just watch Carter make the move and anticipate. Now, right now, you can call it a flop or what, but Don Vaden, the referee, was right there. He was only about 10 feet away. He had a perfect look at it, and he's catching the shoulder, the right shoulder, into Carter's chest.
And a technical foul called on Allen Iverson, and that was a crucial sequence because Carter in danger of picking up his third. Instead, Iverson chalks up his second personal foul. So the technical foul called against Iverson, and Curry makes the free throw.
Now keep an eye on this now as he makes his move to go from right to left. As you see, Carter takes a stand, he holds it, definite contact, no doubt about it, offensive foul.
7-point lead for the Raptors, and playing for what is virtually the final shot of the first quarter. Out on the point, Alvin Williams. McKee defending against Carter. The pick and spot up. Davis going out, and here's Williams for 3, and he hits it. Alvin Williams, who is a 50% three-point shooter in the playoffs, and Iverson's last shot off the glass. A stunning first quarter, and this crowd doesn't know what to think. The Raptors have a 10-point lead with Vince Carter having 10 points, and the Raptors 3 of 4 from 3. They have been tough to beat in the last several games.
Friday afternoon. What's your sound? We boast 3 dedicated music channels, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Plus exclusive music events from home and abroad. Every taste, every sound. And where is the ultimate music venue? Your place. So, turn it up.
Whose side are you on?
This is Fox Sports, where the game never ends.
Independence Hall in Philadelphia, one of the great landmarks, as we start the second quarter, and the Raptors, who are leading 1-0 in the best of 7, are by 10.
Now Vince Carter in a very nice comfort zone, looking for the downtown shot with the defender right in his face, elevates again. Then this incredible acrobatic move and follows it up with his patented fadeaway, and it does not matter how close you are or where you are. Vince Carter, 10 points, 4-7 shooting, and 3 rebounds added into the mix.
Allen Iverson misses the shot, and fighting for the loose ball and winning the battle is Alvin Williams. Here is Del Curry going outside to Carter, and Carter in the air. The rebound by Mutombo. Kevin Ollie seeing action early in this game. Ollie pulls up using a screen by Lynch, and he misses. So the 76ers struggling from the field.
They have to live with the hot shooting of Toronto. They're on fire right now. But at the opposite end of the floor, you're cold. The Sixers, they're cold. No offensive rebounds. They cannot get a second shot attempt.
Shooting only 38%. Here is Williams with a 2-point effort, and Oakley is fouled by McKee. And McKee called for the foul as Oakley was in position to get the foul. Not sure whether Derek Stafford was saying it's an out-of-bounds play or a foul, but it is McKee's second personal.
Tonight we have 2 of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. You got to really want it this evening. Now this is definitely a foul. We know that the old force-out rule back in the 50s and the 60s, they would just hand it to the team. But now it is a definite foul, knocking the man out of bounds.
Carter against McKee with a one-hander. McKee not wanting to pick up his third, and Vince Carter now with 12 points, and has he come alive since Game 4 in the New York series?
Yeah, he changed the release. The release of that shot was kind of spectacular.
Here is Allen Iverson out to McKee. Carter staying with him. Tipped away by Williams. And last touch by the Raptors with 7 on the shot clock.
Main thing in this game right now, the flow at the Toronto end of the floor is beautiful. They're getting wide open shots. They're getting what they're looking for. Philadelphia, choppy. Everything is a strain. Excellent defense right now by Toronto.
6 on the shot clock. Kevin Ollie in the lane slips, and the ball knocked out of bounds, and it goes over to Toronto.
This is a dangerous situation to be in again, because they're slowly getting down to almost a minus 15. Now you have to work so hard to come back in that type of a situation, and this team is a great shooting team now. They're playing with a ton of confidence. Toronto.
They had a 10-0 run earlier, and they have an 8-0 run right now, and a volleyball toss by Oakley over to Williams, and here is Charles Oakley hitting from outside, and the Raptors leading by 14 with only 2 minutes gone by in the second.
They just cannot do anything wrong. With all of that bobbling of the basketball, it never turned into a turnover. It turns into 2.
Meanwhile, the 76ers and the foul called against Toronto. Charles Oakley in the lane on a reach-in. And for Oakley, that is his second foul, but the Sixers have come up empty on 6 straight possessions. Eric Snow and Tyrone Hill back into the Philadelphia lineup as Kevin Ollie and George Lynch go out of the game.
The majority of the offensive flow in the set attack for Philadelphia is a one-on-one situation. Toronto, so quick defensively, they're covering and they're forcing poor percentage shots.
McKee off the glass. Aaron McKee with his first field goal.
That was a tough shot.
You've been watching Vince Carter.
Come on, the angle on that shot was just very different.
He says if Carter can make those, I can. Here's Oakley. Mutombo out to Allen Iverson. Iverson has 8. Carter has 12 in that matchup. And Iverson, basket counts and a foul.
Now the coaching staff, Toronto, very upset. They wanted to travel. They thought that once he broke the painted area going in, that he definitely traveled before the release on the shot. Now keep an eye right here. Now as he makes the steps, there's a 2 count. No, in my opinion, you're allowed the 2-step and you're allowed to pick up your pivot foot. There's your 2 count. You're allowed to pick up that pivot foot as long as you pass or shoot.
Del Curry on the foul. McKee going out of the game. He has 2 fouls replaced by Jumaine Jones, who the Sixers are counting on for offense. Jones had 6 points in 9 minutes in game 1. And the 76ers trailing the Raptors by 9. Iverson now with 11. So again, it's a duel in the sun between Vince Carter and Allen Iverson as we had in game 1. Here is Alvin Williams, blocked by Mutombo, and Jones comes down with it.
They need something good out of this.
Here is Snow, nowhere to go inside. Here's Tyrone Hill, knocked away by Keon Clark, who's coming to the game for the Raptors.
Great strip.
And Williams for 3. And Mutombo again with another rebound. That's his 4th. It's a 9-point Raptor lead. Raptors leading 1-0 with the series moving to Toronto Friday and Sunday for games 3 and 4. Here is Eric Snow against Antonio Davis on the baseline. Loses it to Hill, and then the foul. Keon Clark was right there, and the foul is against Clark. And a timeout with 8:21 remaining in the second quarter. Lenny Wilkins Raptors leading by 9, 35-26. The Toronto Raptors leading practically all the way, and they're up with 8:21 to go in the second quarter. Want to remind you, coming up next on TNT, Game 3 between the Spurs at the Mavericks with San Antonio up 2-0. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT, it'll be the 3rd game in the Eastern Conference between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Charlotte Hornets. Playoff coverage continues throughout the week on TNT Sports. Tyrone Hill is on the free throw line. Hill with 5 points, and there you see the big edge by the Raptors front court, 26-9.
Oh!
That hit the top, bounced around for about 10 minutes and dropped through.
Maybe the tide will turn now. We told you about the Toronto balanced attack at the top when they win all starters in double figures. Well, right now, 4 players have 6 or more points. At the Philadelphia end, only Iverson has more than 4.
So a 7-0 run this time by Philadelphia. The Raptors have had 2 10-0 runs here in this first half, and now the Sixers trying to climb back, down by 7. Chris Childs back in the game at point guard with Curry, Carter, Keon Clark, and Antonio Davis. Here is Clark. Jumaine Jones trying to front him. Back it goes to Curry. In and out on his 3-point attempt.
Yeah, everything tonight for Dell is in the basket, spin around and out.
Tyrone Hill. Davis. Boy, he has been a terror off the glass in both the Knicks and the 76ers series. Curry again missing the run, so it's not falling from, as you pointed out moments ago, so far in game 2. Iverson, fall away. 13 now for Iverson, 5 here in the second quarter.
Now, if you're really following this, the majority of the points are coming out of the transition game, whether it's 2-on-1, 4-on-3, what have you. Once Philly gets set up into their half-court attack, nothing is happening.
So it's down to a 5-point game. Keon Clark blocked by Mutombo. He's got 3, and they're going to jump it up.
Easy. Come on, you don't need a technical here.
Davis and Mutombo.
Right.
And we are seeing short fuses.
Now this is just a great play by Mutombo. Keep an eye to the left of your screen. Keon Clark is going to be coming in here. Now watch Mutombo come. He gets the block. Now as it comes down, he gets tied up by Antonio Davis. Good call. Jump ball.
Joey Crawford right there with it. Will jump it up. The 2 starting centers. Raptors leading 35-30, and Carter trying to get the edge on the tip. It comes out to Philadelphia. Snow to Iverson, and Iverson tipped in by Jermaine Jones on Iverson's miss, and it's a 3-point lead. And Lenny Wilkins bit dismayed now on this 11-0 Sixer run.
Yeah, well, that's how they play. They're playing Pizza Valley, big-time spurts, all coming because of the defense.
And the crowd heard for the first time tonight in high decibels. Here's Chris Childs off the mark. Tyrone Hill the rebound. And now the Sixers can tie it up with a 3. Come to within 1 with a 2-point. Here is Iverson. And another rebound for Antonio Davis. That's 6. Toronto lead 3. They did have a margin of 14 early in the second quarter. Childs spinning his way in, leaves it for Davis, and the big people are hitting from outside.
Well, they just continue. Oakley and Davis are on fire. The rest of the people now have cooled off. Davis for the game, 5 for 6 from the field. We know that Oakley also has 2 jumpers at 15 to 17 feet.
Under 6 minutes remaining in the second. Sixers trying to stay with the Raptors in this home game for Philadelphia. Iverson with the fake on Childs. Iverson driving in, and it's off the rim. And they're going to credit the basket on goaltending. Allen Iverson will get the basket. He has 15, and Hubie, Allen Iverson shooting 50% right now.
Right now, you can see it. Once this goes up here, they thought
Davis.
The referee had it on the way down. Antonio Davis, though, throughout the playoffs, getting over 2 blocks a game.
7 for 14 is Allen Iverson. And coming right back is Carter. And they're in another shootout. Carter with 14, Iverson with 15, and the Raptors up by 5.
Now, Dick, he's been open on every transition. He keeps running to the left box, meaning Vince Carter. He has the man on his back, and for some reason, they continue to go away from him. You can get him in the early offense. One-on-one with Vince Carter in the low box, you're open.
You got a good shot there. Iverson with a 3, his first of the game. And the Raptors lead down to 2, and this crowd very much in it on its feet here at the First Union Center. And Curry is fouled by Eric Snow as Chris Childs found him at the point.
Yeah, they fell asleep. Eric Snow fell asleep down inside. Del Curry came along that baseline. Snow looked for the pass, and a bullet right on the money to Del Curry.
And Allen Iverson with 10 points here in the second quarter to lead the Sixer comeback.
Now this is just a big-time shot. You're talking about the guy right in your face, challenging, even getting a piece of your hand as this ball goes down. I would like to show you that last play. Now keep an eye on Chris Childs right here. Here comes the screen by Antonio Davis. As Childs comes into the middle and swings back, Mutombo will come to help out. And then once again, Antonio Davis, they do not roll on the screen. They spot up. And they've been catching Philadelphia all night in their rotations on the perimeter. And fortunately for them, Antonio Davis and Oakley continue to shoot a high percentage.
Both of these teams lost their first games in their first round series. The Raptors losing to the Knicks, and the 76ers losing at home to the Indiana Pacers. Sixers, by the way, have not won a best-of-7 series since 1984-85. They have dropped 6 in a row. They're trying to get into the conference finals. They haven't done that since that year. Davis having a big game. Del Curry with 1 out of 2 from the line, and the Raptors leading by 3. Well, since the Raptors led by 14, the Sixers have been sparked by Iverson, who has 10 of their 16 points, using a screen from Hill. And here is the shot by Jumaine Jones. He's got some offense capabilities.
Yeah, well, he can score. There's no doubt about it. He just doesn't have a consistent three-point range. But his game, 15 to 18 feet. He's an excellent athlete, and he's improving.
And there is Keon Clark, another good young talent, as the Raptors again up by 3.
Yeah, the coaching staff at Toronto, they love his athleticism. Left-handed, good shot blocker, good rebounder. In one game this year, he had 12 blocked shots against Atlanta.
Here's Iverson in the paint. Iverson now with 20, 12 here in the second quarter. And Iverson, who shot a horrendous percentage in game 1, is 9 of 16 thus far.
He's on fire. He wanted a foul on that shot. He thought he got hit.
3:45 on the clock in the second quarter. The Raptors lead down by 1. It was once 14. And Todd McCullough, the big guy in the game, in front of Carter, nearly losing it is Clark, and his turnaround hits.
Yes.
They could do no wrong from the perimeter.
Now, in this half, with the shot clock down, it's just incredible the percentage that they're shooting. Such a high percentage on difficult shots with the clock down.
And big people.
Yes. The front line doing a yeoman's job here tonight.
The lead is 3, and Aaron McKee giving up the dribble. 5 on the shot clock. Hill against Keon Clark gets another chance. It's deflected. Clark got a piece of it as the shot clock expires. Keon Clark doing double duty that time defensively.
Dick, he's so active. He's so quick. He's 6'11", long arms, terrific athleticism. He hits the ground. He just bounces right back. You're talking about a young man who's in the perfect team rotation and in style of play here with this Toronto franchise.
Keon Clark, who came over in a 5-player deal with the Denver Nuggets. Kevin Willis, the veteran, going to Denver. Eric Montross in the game, along with Charles Oakley for the Raptors, with Childs, Alvin Williams, who misses the 2-point attempt, and Carter. And they're going to call Charles Oakley on the foul on Tyrone Hill, and that will be 3 on Oakley.
In the early going, Alvin Williams is just staying with the flow. He's not getting any points on the board, but he has been consistent throughout 6 playoff games with the 17 points, the high shooting percentage, and the 7 for 15 and threes.
Keon, on a one swing, whenever we run a one swing, sometimes what's happening, okay, the guy when we go this way, if you see this man go over the top, step in the middle. Anytime the guard goes over the top, step in the middle.
A lot of times on the break, if you're just running the 3, we talked about early high or early low. We haven't gotten in either one. And we talked about on slow times running dive. We haven't run that. So slow down. We ran drag special without any execution. We don't have to rush.
That's a very good point by Larry Brown, because they're getting an awful lot of transition, but he wants better production. The center, Mutombo, is not even touching the ball in the early hour.
Iverson driving in unmolested has 22 points, and the Raptors lead is 1. The Sixers cutting it down. Iverson from Childs, Carter from Childs on the alley-oop. So Iverson and Carter, after the timeout, come out explosive. Carter now with 16, Iverson 22.
Well, you always like to see it when they come out of the huddles, that they run a play, and the play, it gets executed. For Iverson to guard around, for Carter, the defender lost body contact.
And the double team, and Eric Montross was out there, and Vince Carter, who was shaken up, and Iverson tending to him to make sure he's all right. But I'm not sure now, as Carter holding on to his left hand or arm. Let's see if we can pick this up, Hubie, as he goes to the sideline.
Well, right there, he got either kicked when Iverson went up in the air. Iverson might have caught him with a knee as he was in the air as Carter challenged the shot.
Montross with the personal foul, and Iverson is on the line. The Raptors in the penalty.
Now keep an eye on it. Now watch as he goes up. See, he must have caught Carter on the way down when Carter challenged that shot with the lead knee.
Approaching the 2-minute mark of this first half, and the Raptors getting it all done early and clicking, as you see Carter coming up court, led by 14, and the Sixers have cut it down to 1 on several occasions. They're down by 1 now, and a Philadelphia foul. It is a non-shooting foul. It'll be against Jumaine Jones, and the first within 2 minutes. Coming up on the AT&T halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, and the former Portland head coach Mike Dunleavy discuss the Blazers season. That should be interesting. And also first half analysis of the Raptors and the Sixers. Jumaine Jones against Carter. Air ball. And Iverson smartly blocks out Montross in his attempt to keep it alive.
Yeah, they really had nice rotation. Give Philly a lot of credit. And you like the ball movement by Toronto. Toronto, number 1 in the league this year in fewest turnovers. And right there, third in assists. They move the ball and they spread the court.
And the lost ball, Jumaine Jones loses it. And Tyrone Hill tries to get it back. But the Raptors will get it. So the Philadelphia 76ers once again with an opportunity to wrest the lead from the Raptors. Their last lead and only lead was at 10-9 early on in the game. So they missed that opportunity. And with 1:20 to go, Carter against Jumaine Jones, the fall away. Montross trying to tip it out, does to Williams.
Nice job by Montross.
And Carter missing inside. Good defense. Mutombo was right there. And the 76ers looking to regain the lead for the first time since the opening moments. Here's Iverson. The double team. The shot. They lead. Philadelphia is up 47-46. What a game.
Allen Iverson is on fire. Mutombo just rolled. He was wide open going to the hole. And I'll tell you, when you elevate and take that shot, you better make it.
Iverson has 18 of his 26 points here in the second quarter. Keon Clark and the Sixers with nearly a half a minute to go in the first half, leading by 1. And posting up is Mutombo against Montross. Blocked by Keon Clark, and Hill misses the stop shot. And a foul is called against Tyrone Hill as the 76ers with 2 golden opportunities down low.
Now give Toronto a ton of credit here. They reacted. They were in a disadvantage defensively in the flow. They get the shot block, then they get the strip of deflection. That's just great team ball and not quitting on a play. Do not concede any layup.
Eric Snow checking in for the Sixers, and Del Curry for the Raptors. Chris Childs is on the line. Both teams now in the penalty, and Childs makes good. Want to remind you, coming this June on TNT, of course, the drama of Wimbledon.
The drama of Wimbledon returns to TNT. Don't miss 2 weeks of daytime coverage of the best tennis in the world beginning June 25th.
So 2 weeks, the fortnight from the All England Club in London. As Jerome Williams coming into the game. Williams a big factor for the Raptors against the Knicks in the first round, as you see Childs at the line, but Williams playing only 3 minutes and coming up scoreless in game number 1.
Now Larry Brown has gone small for this last 19 seconds. They just brought in another guard. They pushed Jermaine Jones over to the power forward position. Lenny Wilkins answered by bringing in Jerome Williams to match up.
Here's Iverson with 6 on the shot clock against Childs. Iverson having a brilliant quarter, fires and hits. Allen Iverson now with 20 points here in the second quarter as the first half comes to an end. So it was Carter early for the Raptors and Allen Iverson late. 28 points for Iverson, who has hit 9 of his last 10 shots, and he's done it from outside, and he's done it on the drive.
Now this is a great player with the clock going down, making something out of nothing. The defender played him as well as he could and even challenged the shot.
Iverson with 28, Carter with 16, and the Sixers lead by 2, and it's their biggest lead of the game, believe it or not, as we send it out to D. Lineham.
Thanks much, Dick. Antonio, maybe with those couple baskets for the Sixers, the momentum changed slightly, but how do you regain it in that third quarter?
Well, the thing is, we just come out and we be patient. We do the things that we did in the first quarter. I think we did a good job of containing Allen, but he's hitting some good shots. We knew we were going to do that, but we just have to be patient.
If he continues to be the way he is, but you guys stay balanced, does that go in your favor?
I don't know. I think we're going to have to change it up a little bit. We may have to double team him and try to get the ball out of his hands. He's the type of guy that can keep hitting these type of shots, so we don't want him to continue.
All right, Antonio, thanks for your time. Good luck in that second half. Dick?
Well, they got to find something to curtail Allen Iverson, D, because he scored 16 of the last 18 for the Sixers. And at the end of the first half in Game 2, Philadelphia leads Toronto 49-47 as we send it to our studios and Ernie Johnson. And welcome back to the First Union Center in Philadelphia. The Toronto Raptors leading 1-0 in the best-of-7 semifinal, led by Vince Carter coming out of the halftime dressing room as the Sixers following suit. And the American Express leaderboard shooting practically even, the game practically even, but a rebounding edge for the Sixers, which we'll be talking about. There's the turnover story and a big second quarter, 28-16 as the 76ers came out of their funk and got back in the game and have the 2-point lead. Dick Stockton along with Hubie Brown. And other than the great heroics of Allen Iverson in the second quarter, what helped bring back Philadelphia in the second?
Well, he's 12 for 19. Then you look at the battle of the paint. They're a big lopsided 22-10 in Philly's favor. A +7 in board play. So they're doing well. At the other end, Toronto with only 2 turnovers. Nice, they're maximizing it, but 2 of their best shooters are struggling. Williams and Curry are 2 for 11. They've got to get them going, and let's see what happens inside the paint.
Well, let's hear what another expert has to say. The fan take.
Well, the first half, if I'm the doctor and I'm stopping the bleeding, I think we've now got the patient where we want the patient, and that is 3 points up. It was difficult. We went in exploratory, and we found that there were some things there that were causing eruptions and erosions, but we've since put a few sponges on it and some clamps. Now all we need to do is shoot.
Well, it makes sense. He played a doctor in the Bill Cosby show, so he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, very concerned, Larry Brown. I hope he gets across the point of the early transition game. Let's get some offensive opportunities from Mutombo. He only has 4 shots in this game.
Sixers led by Iverson with 28 is the only player in double figures in a Philadelphia uniform. Carter has 16. Antonio Davis has 10 for Toronto as Mutombo on the putback gets the first basket, and the Sixers, who are down by as many as 14, lead by 4.
Well, they trapped Allen Iverson with the 2 perimeter guys, forced them baseline. You saw the rotations. That was an outstanding pass to Mutombo.
Chris Childs at the point with Alvin Williams. Here is Antonio Davis feeding Carter, and Carter too hard off the glass. Charles Oakley playing with 3 personal fouls, also in the Raptor lineup. And there is Iverson inside. offensive rebound by Tyrone Hill. Here is Snow, and the Sixers certainly had their chances.
We told you at halftime that both teams are having difficulty getting a second shot. Toronto, 1 second shot opportunity.
Carter off the front rim, and Oakley with the offensive rebound, only the second in the game for the Raptors, and Davis with a fall-away hitting. So Davis waited until he was away from Mutombo, and Antonio Davis with 12.
Interesting, good defensive rebounding at both ends in that first half. Philly with 4 offensive boards, and then Toronto with 1. That was their second right there, and you see they converted it into a score.
Stowe shooting over the taller Davis, and there is Alvin Williams bringing it across. Toronto's not been able to run since Philadelphia made their comeback in the second quarter. Childs missing by a mile, and the basket for Vince Carter. Carter had missed his last 5 shots before connecting. He has 18.
Well, I'm glad we brought out the point they only had 1 offensive rebound. They just came out here 2 for 2 and 2 scores.
2 minutes gone by, and we're tied at 51. There you see the scoring leaders, and to no one's surprise, Carter and Iverson are in front. Alvin Williams, tough defender, in front of Iverson. Doesn't matter tonight. 30 points for Iverson. His personal playoff career high is 45. We've just started things here in the third quarter, and he has 30. Loose ball, and here come the 76ers. To Iverson. On the run, did not have control of it. Carter for 3. And that hits the top, over the top. And it will be Sixers ball as we send it to D. Lynam.
Well, Dick, talking to Lenny Wilkins at halftime, is saying it seems like an elementary question, but do you have to slow Iverson down given that it was still a 2-point game with his 28? He said we need to pick our spots, especially when the shot clock's getting down low to double. What did concern him was their 16 points in the second quarter. Have to get more involvement with Antonio Davis. Dick?
Offensive rebound by Tyrone Hill. And the Sixers lead by 4. So Lenny Wilkins more concerned on the offensive end than he is in worrying about Iverson. He knows he's going to get his bushel of points. Here's Oakley from outside. He was hitting them early, and then all of a sudden they grew cold from outside. Oakley now with 8.
Well, at halftime, Oakley and Antonio Davis were 8 for 11. The majority of the shots were coming out on the perimeter.
Sixers by 2. Here's Snow finding an open space off the glass. And the Raptors foul down underneath, and it's against Carter, and that's going to be 3 on Vince Carter as the crowd lets the appreciation be heard. Snow's on the line. Let's see where Allen Iverson took his shots, Hubie, in that first half.
Well, we told you at halftime he was 12 for 19, and you could see the majority of his points were foul line down, and that's what you would like to see happen, that he continues to attack and get down inside rather than forcing the long jump shots. Game plan of Toronto, trying to level him off, keep him deep, out beyond 18 feet. Well, in that half, he just made it happen.
8:20 remaining in the third. Sixers by 4, looking to even the series at 1 apiece. Oakley open from the left side and hits. So Charles Oakley tonight is 5 for 7 from the field, and bringing Toronto to within 2 again.
Every time that they run screen and roll, top of the circle or out on the wing, screen and spot up. Do not roll. You're wide open because of the rotation factor of Philadelphia.
Here's Mutombo, and he's fouled as Iverson finds Mutombo down low. Remember, Oakley has 3 personal fouls coming into the second half, and now has picked up his 4th. Crowd loving it because, as you know, there's no love lost between Tyrone Hill and Charles Oakley, who have had their off-the-court problems. And it erupted during a shoot-around earlier this year, and Oakley trying to get into Tyrone Hill's head. But 4 fouls for Oakley, who has been effective from the outside. Mutombo makes the first, and the Sixers perfect from the line tonight, 13 for 13.
In the first half, Mutombo set many screens. Iverson would come off the screen and make it happen. Mutombo would roll to the basket. He was wide open, never got the ball. He only had 2 shot attempts. Now in the early going here, he's already had 2 catches in the painted area, one on a screen and roll and one on a movement. And you want to get him involved because then they'll have to pay attention there because they know you're not going to force up bad percentage shots. You're looking for the layup.
Philly by 4. Oakley again from outside, and Davis trying to keep it alive, but here's Eric Snow and the penetration. Snow off balance. Not a good shot by him. Sixers leading by 4, trailed throughout most of the first half, and then regained the lead in the final moments of the second quarter. Antonio Davis with the fall away. Davis with 14, and the front court, 42 points of Toronto's 57.
Every time you run screen and roll, Dick, you just run it in transition. Come off from that wing area and then just spot up 15, 18 feet. It's wide open.
It's there for him. Iverson stepping back for a 2, and Mutombo very aggressive in this game, getting the offensive rebound. Iverson and Davis getting the rebound. He was hit in the head inadvertently, it appeared, by Hill. Here's Oakley popping outside, so he hit a couple, now he's missed a few.
Just keep it going here. The Philly just got to continue to keep pushing.
Lynch. And the rebound by Davis quickly out to Alvin Williams. And they're going to call Chris Childs a technical foul. On Childs. Childs not quite the factor yet in this series as he was against his former team, the Knicks, in round 1 when the Raptors won on the road in game 5.
Well, he's not been able to get in the flow. What he was upset about was in the backcourt when Iverson caught that pitch out. Iverson turned and then he bumps into Childs. Childs thought that it should have been a block. Now this is a missed shot right here from George Lynch, Larry Brown, you all know. And then right down in here we have a pop. So Childs was involved in 2 situations.
Chris Childs getting into early foul trouble, not scoring in game 1, has scored 3 points and has 2 fouls. So Childs working against Snow with Carter, Oakley, Davis, and Alvin Williams. And the pass, not a good one. Trying to get it to Davis down low, and it was picked off by Mutombo. Aaron McKee into the game for the 76ers. Awarded the 6-man trophy today, and not a good pass by Snow to Mutombo. He recovers, however, and misses the shot. So we have had some shoddy passing on both teams.
You see, the early offense that you know the Sixers have worked on, Larry Brown explained it to us. They had 17 breaks in the first half on Sunday with no points because they're taking quick shots and nothing has happened.
7 on the shot clock. Alvin Williams with a high arcing jumper from the baseline. Now with 8 points, and the Raptors climb to within 1. Spurs Mavericks next.
Now Toronto, they're hoping that Alvin will get going now, that he'll hit some type of a rhythm.
Williams guarding Iverson, who has 31 points in the game. Here's Snow driving the baseline. Nicely done by Eric Snow.
Now you're hoping right there. You had 2 purple shirts, and definitely they should have taken a charge in that area. They just gave him the baseline.
Now Antonio Davis missing from the corner with under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Sixers leading by 3. Here's Mutombo fighting for the loose ball and loses out to Childs.
Now you and I both know that was not a pass to Mutombo.
Well, I'm giving him the credit. Benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. Here's Davis in heavy traffic. And Iverson defending Oakley in the turnover.
Great deflection.
2-on-1. McKee fouled, and a fancy behind-the-back pass by Allen Iverson to Aaron McKee, and a foul on the play, and the crowd loving it as the 76ers, looking much sharper since the first quarter, will take a 3-point lead into this timeout.
76ers McDonald's are looking for.
We've been saying all night long, Toronto continues to get this. Here's a screen as the dribbler comes over the top. All night that guy has been stepping back, but in this play he rolls. Now watch the defender on Charles Oakley Hill come over and pick up the roll man, opening up Oakley right there. So they're getting it both ways, either off the initial two guys or with a ball rotation to the third man. It's been good, and it has given them a ton of points tonight.
4:20 remaining in the third, and when you consider that Allen Iverson shooting only 1 of 8 this quarter, Sixers have held their own. Actually, have added 1 point to their lead. Iverson with 31 points. You saw Vince Carter with 18. Oakley playing with 4 fouls has 10. Aaron McKee on the line and makes the first. Right now, let's take a look at the drama of NASCAR coming to TNT this summer.
Every inch, every second counts, because every race is the most important race in all their lives. That's drama. That's NASCAR.
NASCAR coming this summer to TNT and NBC. So Aaron McKee now, as the Sixers are a perfect 17 of 17 from the line. Here is Antonio Davis from Childs, and he'll go to the line. And the foul is against Mutombo, and that is his first.
Well, Mutombo was thinking that he was going to get the charge call, but in order to do that, you must get outside of the restricted dotted line area. And that was a nice move by Antonio Davis.
Antonio Davis, who's had a great playoff, makes the first free throw. Toronto not going to the line nearly as much as the 76ers, 5 for 8 to this point. 1 out of 2, and Mutombo fighting for the loose ball, and it comes out.
Great hustle.
Great hustle by Jerome Williams, who's into the game now.
Now he just took that rebound right away from Mutombo.
Williams, Carter with Childs, and a steal by George Lynch from Williams. The alley-oop to Jermaine Jones. On the alley-oop, Jones with 6 off the bench, and the Sixers have opened up their biggest lead.
I have to be careful. Aaron McKee's on the point now with Iverson, with Jermaine Jones at that small forward. Good call. That was a very good call.
Coming out to bump Chris Childs.
Yep.
And Mutombo picking up his second here in this third quarter.
Well, if you're going to step up and hedge, that's a hedge. Then you've got to trap the man. If you're not going to trap the man, then drop back once he starts out. That was a smart move by the ball handler, right into him.
3.5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, and Dean Lynam. Game 2 of the best of 7 Eastern semi. And Vince Carter hitting his third from downtown, now with 21 points, cuts the Sixer lead in half.
Yes, I want to see Vince Carter get more active. We're down to 3 minutes right now. We're hardly mentioning his name in this quarter. He's not involved in the offense right now.
Only 5 here in the third quarter for Vince Carter. And Mutombo backing in against Davis. Lynch, great hustle, but off the hands of Mutombo, and a 4-on-3 for the Raptors. Alvin Williams pulling up. Williams getting the rebound as Jerome Williams on the miss. Davis, the short jumper, doesn't go.
Well, that's the threat of Mutombo. Instead of Davis on that catch, taking it to the rim, he respects the shot blocker.
And then Iverson comes back with 2. 33 for Allen Iverson, who is shooting a lot better than he did in game 1 when he was 11 for 34. He is at 50%, having taken 28 shots.
Now this is the guy you got to get in. You know he can take Jermaine Jones, but what you want to do is see him go to the rim.
And illegal defense against the 76ers. That's the first violation tonight. And a timeout called by Toronto. Allen Iverson still getting it done. 33 points, the game-high score as the Sixers lead 68-63 over the Raptors.
Thursday on Fox Sports, after Australia's best sports news, Greg Clark takes us inside rugby. At 8:30, our weekly in-depth look at Aussie rules with AFL on Fox direct from the G, then basketball with the NBA playoffs.
I'm Eduardo Nájera of the Dallas Mavericks. Not much has changed since I grew up in Chihuahua, Mexico. There's still young boys and girls with their whole lives ahead of them, facing difficult decisions. I had a dream to be a professional basketball player, but that's not why I avoided drugs. I avoided drugs so I could give myself a greater opportunity in life.
This message brought to you by the NBA and its players and the United Nations.
I want to give you a little history lesson. Earlier tonight, Aaron McKee accepted the Sixth Man Award. He became the second Sixer to win such a thing. Bobby Jones won the inaugural award in 1983, the year the Sixers won a championship. Earlier today, Bobby Jones actually flew up from North Carolina to share this award with the current Sixth Man, Aaron McKee. Bobby Jones, he's still winning. He's coaching a high school team in Carolina, and this year, Hubie, they won the state championship.
Bobby Jones, one of the truly great defenders ever in the history of the NBA. 7 times all-defense, first team, and a great team player.
And a great compliment, as you say, with the likes of Julius Erving and all of the stars they had on that team. True role-playing team with Maurice Cheeks, Andrew Toney, and the rest. 8 on the shot clock, and the ball turned over to the 76ers, and they're turning it around tonight. It's the Raptors who are turning it over, as opposed to game 1, when the Sixers had 19 turnovers in the game. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. 10 on the shot clock. Jermaine Jones from the corner hitting a 3.
The young man is really stepping out. During the year, he played about 12 minutes a game, but his minutes increased once Kukoc left and went into the trade to Atlanta. And he's stepping up and he's shooting well in the playoffs.
Here's Antonio Davis, and the foul is called. But Jermaine Jones giving the 76ers that offense off the bench from the front court. He is 4 for 4 tonight and has 9 points. Tyrone Hill with the foul. That is the 4th team foul against the Sixers, and in the shooting situation, Davis on the line. Under a minute and a half remaining in the third quarter, Hubie, and Vince Carter has taken only 5 shots here in this quarter.
Dick, he's not involved in any type of continuity. You know that when they bring him from the opposite side to the box or on a diagonal cut down to the ball side, they're playing behind him and they can go to him at any time, but he's not involved.
Davis with 17 points, second to Carter's 21, and a 6-point lead for the 76ers. Nearing the end of this third quarter, the Sixers led by 2 at the half after trailing by 10 after 1. Iverson has been on fire since the start of the game. He has 35 points. And remember, it was Iverson who had 36 in game number 1. I think he will exceed that total. Under a minute remaining in the third. Alvin Williams in the lane. In and out, the shots not dropping for Toronto. And the Raptors fouling. Antonio Davis trying to go after the loose ball, and they'll call it on Jerome Williams.
Dick, every loose ball this half at the Toronto offensive end, the Philadelphia Sixers are getting it. And that has not been the trend in the first game and a half. Toronto quick to every loose ball. Give the Sixers a lot of credit. They're really putting it out here.
12 on the shot clock, trying to trap Iverson on the outside. Fall away. And here comes Toronto.
That's when Iverson's the most dangerous defensively. When he misses a shot and you try to kick it out, he's constantly lurking to go for the steal.
He had 7 steals in game 1 as Carter hits the 3. He's had 4 of them and has 24 points, keeping the Raptors in the game, trailing by 5. And the shot clock is off for the 76ers. Here is Iverson driving in, blocked by Alvin Williams. And the last chance for Toronto. Here's Curry for 3. He's got it, and it counts. Del Curry with a 3-pointer, and the Raptors responding with a pair of 3s from Vince Carter and Del Curry to spoil Allen Iverson's third quarter show.
A great defensive effort at the one end, and then recognizing the clock, getting the ball to one of the best of all time. 9th leading maker of 3s in the history of the NBA, and a 40% shooter in 3s throughout his career, Del Curry.
So after 3, the Sixers lead the Raptors 73-71. Let's take a look at tonight's budget rent-a-car fast break. The Sixers with a big edge in that department. Carter shooting 50% for his 24. Iverson just about 50% for his 35, but a little chilly in the third quarter, hitting at 3 for 12. Coming up next on TNT, Game 3 between the Spurs and the Mavericks in that Texas battle right here on TNT. And NBC will have coverage of Game 4 of the Spurs and the Mavericks series Saturday beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern with the NBA on NBC pregame show. Underway in the fourth quarter, Vince Carter, along with Antonio Davis, Alvin Williams, Jerome Williams, and Del Curry, who hit the 3 as time ran out in the third. 7 on the clock. Carter with the fall-away, hitting. Carter now with 26.
Dick, that is there anytime. Anytime he hits and goes to the low box area, they're behind him. It doesn't matter who plays him. Once he makes the catch and elevates and shoots the fadeaway, he's getting a great look, and he's on fire.
Snow with McKee and Iverson, and Lynch and Mutombo. So the smaller team out there for Larry Brown. And McKee comes up empty. The Raptors on an 8-0 run thanks to those 2 3-pointers in the last minute of play. Can break the tie and regain the lead. Carter has it knocked away, and it was last touched by Lynch.
Yeah, solid defense. They ran the double team man as soon as he put the ball down on the floor. Now, we brought up the point at the top of the show telling you that this is a great 3-point shooting team. In the playoffs, they're shooting up over 40% as a team. They already have 6. That's how they came back when you said 2 threes for a quick 6.
And 6 of 12 for the game.
Yes.
So that's a pretty good number for 3s. And now the 76ers looking to regain their lead. Here's McKee feeding Lynch. Tough pass. And they're going to call Iverson for the reach-in foul. 3 on Allen Iverson in the first couple of minutes of this fourth quarter.
See, that's what we just brought out just a few minutes ago. See, he loves any time that there is a mistake in the back quarter, he misses a shot, and he's upset. He will always dog that first pass out man. He'll try to get you where you're not thinking of the turnover in the back court. Boom, he's right on top of the dribble.
Curry shadowed by Snow. Williams with 5 on the shot clock. Iverson right with him. Not that time. Offensive rebounds by Jerome Williams, and Mutombo coming in for the foul. Lynch and Mutombo were both underneath. And it'll be against Lynch's third. Good hustle by Jerome Williams inside.
Just keep an eye on this. He just rips this away, and he does not have good positioning. He is behind Lynch, just out jumps him and rips that down. He's a high-energy player. We know that he's basically a defender and a rebounder, but you must pay attention to him because he's all over the boards.
Very active defensively in the Knicks series. Williams missing the free throw, where the 76ers have had the big edge at the line tonight, not only in the trips to the free throw line, but in the percentage made. Here's Williams, who has thus far not scored and still comes up empty. So Hubie, Toronto 7 of 13 for the line, while the Sixers have hit all 17 of theirs.
Well, you know, it's totally out of character throughout the playoffs because they've been very high, right up around that 80 mark.
Still tied at 73, and the pass to Mutombo inside goes up, and he's hit.
The difference in the two teams off the dribble in the paint. When Toronto gets down into the painted area and you rotate and cut off that dribbler, their big guys move into good passing lanes, they receive a pass, and they get a nice high percentage shot. Philly, they get into the painted area, and when the defense rotates to them, when they hit the guy, they're all getting caught with their back to the baseline.
Mutombo had 17 points and 12 rebounds in game one, looking for his 9th point of the game. And the 76ers, according to Larry Brown, would not have held their standard as the leading team in the East had they not made the deal for Mutombo, for Theo Radcliffe, and a bunch of players, including crew coach Nazir Mohammed.
Absolutely. Radcliffe was finished for the year. Who was going to step up? You say, well, what about Geiger? Geiger, you know, missed 47 games this year, only played 5 minutes a game in the Indiana series, so they would have been out of luck.
Sixers by 2. The up fake, ball knocked away, and it's last touch by the Raptors, so the Sixers will get it back as Jerome Williams appeals to Don Vaden in vain. And Lenny Wilkins with a sardonic smile on the Toronto bench. What a duo of coaches we have. Both have won over 1,000 games. Wilkins, the all-time winningest coach in NBA history. Larry Brown winning his 1,000th year. Eric Snow on the foray, and the loose ball. Lynch gets it back on 2. Here is Snow, and he lays it in.
Beautiful decision by Lynch. Rather than go to Iverson at the top of the circle, he made the cross-court pass.
Sixers up by 4 again after this game was tied. Taking advantage of turnovers, 2 of them by Toronto. Here is Carter, and that'll drop for him. Carter now with 28.
Now that was just a great move, because when he came out of that spin, on the release of that shot, he had to adjust the release.
Iverson for 3. Allen Iverson, his second 3. And has 38 points, and once again Carter and Iverson putting on a big show, but Iverson has scored 10 more than Vince Carter, and the Sixers are up by 5. Here is Curry hitting a 3, second of the game.
Well, you just love it. Throughout his career, he's made over 1,200 threes. Lenny Wilkins has a great deal of faith in him. He missed most of the training camp, all of the exhibition games because of injury, and he's been late coming around, but he's coming at the right time.
Iverson kicking the ball, but a foul first. And Jerome Williams committing his second foul, so Carter and Iverson putting on another show tonight.
Just watch on this reverse how he gets this ball out. Watch this. The defender was right there. It was almost like a knuckleball release, but he gets the beauty of the bounce. Now Iverson just on fire. He's feeling it from perimeter. The Toronto game plan, forcing to make the jumpers. Tonight, they're going down.
This weekend on Fox Sports. Settle in for soccer's night of nights as we take you to Cardiff's Millennium Stadium when Arsenal and Liverpool clash in the 120th FA Cup final. Live. It's make or break time with the final round in the Vodafone Super 12. Find out who makes it into the semis exclusively live. And we take you to the Caribbean for live coverage of the 6th one-dayer between the West Indies and South Africa. This weekend on Fox Sports.
That's a big, big X factor for the Mavericks tonight.
Well, he's been struggling in this series and throughout the entire playoffs on the road. 5 games on the road, he's shooting under 27%. At home, the only 2 games, he shot 50. He's your main man, 22 points a game. He's got to get it going.
And that crowd is going to be deafening. in Dallas, as it is here at the First Union Center. The Sixers need a win at home to even the series after losing game 1 at home on Sunday. And Curry knocks the ball away from McKee, and the turnover. So pesky hands by the Toronto Raptors, and they're looking at a chance to tie the game. Double team on Carter. Davis open for a year and hits the shot. Tie score at 80.
Tonight, Antonio Davis, Charles Oakley, deadly out on the perimeter.
19 for Davis, who has hit 8 of his 11 shots. 7:35 to go. Raptors have found the range here in the corner, and Allen Iverson finds the range for another 3. That's his 3rd of the game, and 41 points for Iverson. And the Sixers are up by a trio. Allen Iverson approaching his playoff career high, and of course he's only been in it 2 years. Here's Carter, nearly stolen by McKee, who ties him up. Good hustle by McKee, who went at him a second time.
Nice anticipation by Aaron McKee, and also Iverson coming on the look to turn him back. Now keep an eye. See, Iverson's going to come into the picture from the right. Once he comes to come back, you'll see Iverson come into the picture right there. Nice play by Aaron McKee.
And the tip won by Carter to Jerome Williams. Crowd wanted to travel. Alvin Williams running Iverson into a screen, and on the runner, does not fall for him. Fight for the loose ball, and they're going to go the other way.
This game is so herky-jerky, and the reason is because of the defense. The defense has been tenacious here tonight. Everyone sacrificing, making the extra step, and the rotation. There's a lot of body contact. The referees are letting them play, and the big thing right now is you've got to try to get the high percentage shot.
Iverson hitting again. 43 for Allen Iverson, and his shooting percentage far better. He was a 42% shooter during the regular season, in the 30s in the playoffs, but he is above 50%. 18 of 34 tonight.
Distance not a factor tonight for Allen Iverson.
Is it ever? Antonio Davis, the rebound, Jerome Williams. Williams a factor tonight. No question about it. Here's Alvin Williams, and he hits. Williams, who is 6 of 9 on Sunday. That's only his 4th field goal in 14 tries.
Yeah, but at the right time, that's the key. You got to keep an eye on Jerome Williams on the glass now. He's making a lot of things happen.
Yes, he is, as he did against the Knicks. McKee for 3. Heath nearly had it. It was in and out. And now the Raptors trailing by 3 with 5:45 to go. Antonio Davis out to Carter. He'll fire. He misses a 3. And on the run is Aaron McKee against Williams. And it's blocked by Vince Carter. Carter on the great block. Toronto coming back. And inside, nice. Antonio Davis blocked by Mutombo, and Alvin Williams got to catch a breath in this game.
Well, the shot blocking is terrific, but how about Jerome Williams keeping things alive? Now he gets that shot block and then finds the free man to knock in that medium-range jump shot.
But the Sixers call a timeout. Their lead is 1, and this has been a furious game with Jerome Williams 7 big rebounds. We'll be right back.
Now keep an eye on Alvin Williams as he cuts in front of McKee. Just enough to get him to hesitate. Look at the elevation of Vince Carter. Now Toronto on the move at the other end. Lynch is trying to run down Alvin Williams as soon as Mutombo commits. Now just watch the pump fake. Beautiful. Mutombo stays down and then comes through. Defensive Player of the Year, and a beautiful illustration of reaction and timing by Mutombo.
And for the 3rd time making the all-defensive team, played in 26 games for the 76ers after that February trade with the Atlanta Hawks. And Pat Croce enjoying and urging on his team, and you know how anxious he must feel. And of course Mutombo played for Lenny Wilkins. Ball knocked away, last touch by the Raptors. Played for Lenny Wilkins in Atlanta, so he knows all about what Mutombo can do.
The You see, they were very lucky right there, Dick. That should have been an interception. Alvin Williams played that pass perfectly. No one came to the ball. They all ran away from the ball. Well, when you do that with Toronto, they're so quick and athletic, they shoot the gaps in the passing lane.
43 for Allen Iverson. Tyrone Hill working against Jerome Williams and deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Williams with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Williams claiming otherwise, saying, "I did not touch the ball," as he meant talks to Don Baden. But the Sixers will have 4 seconds to attempt a shot. Iverson with 43 and Carter with 28. Here is Iverson with a runner going the other way, and Tyrone Hill with key hustle running that down. And a new clock.
They've got to set up here and get something good, some high percentage move where it just isn't a desperation shot.
Philadelphia more offensive rebounds than Toronto. That's a story in itself. Iverson driving around, finding an open space, and 19 of 36 for Allen Iverson, and the Sixers lead by 3. Iverson took 34 shots in game 1, and he has scored the last 10. Approaching the 4-minute mark in regulation. Double team on Carter. Going up, trying to draw the foul as the shot clock goes off.
And the shot did not hit the rim. That was a beautiful trap by Mutombo, and he forced Vince Carter to change directions, and there was no prayer with the release of that shot.
76ers, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference at 56 and 26, winning 10 of their last 13 at home, losing game 1 with Indiana here and losing game 1 with Toronto here at home, and trying to even things as Iverson gets knocked to the floor and knocked hard as he drives in and is fouled by Alvin Williams.
They ran a down screen, and Iverson ran a curl. And when he makes the catch, if there is any type of an opening, he will just blast to the basket. Now just keep an eye right here. They forced him back the other way, though, and then he just makes it happen. You can see he gets hit right across the wrist. No question about the foul.
And Antonio Davis was hit in the face. And there he is with a towel. Appears to be all right. Iverson 5 of 5 from the line, and Davis still trying to shake it off. And a timeout with 3:49 as Allen Iverson has established a playoff career high with 46 points, and the Sixers lead by 4. We'll be right back to the First Union Center.
3 men had a shot at last year's Byron Nelson Classic title.
Stay up.
2 blew their chances, and Parnevik secured victory.
There you go, a second win of the season.
Now the players return to Texas.
Well, that was pretty clever stuff.
For this year's Classic on the US PGA Tour. Who from the top-class field will have what it takes? Live and exclusive, the Byron Nelson Classic starts Friday morning at 6, Fox Sports.
The Mavericks and Spurs coming up next here on TNT. There is the situation. Sixers still with 2 fouls to give in an 88-84 game. Allen Iverson was cold in the third quarter, but he has scored the last 11 points for the 76ers. Relentless would be the way to describe him today.
Yeah, and when he's making his drives to the basket, Dick, he's getting at a good angle where he can play the glass. Now he's finally going to the line. He's 5 for 5 at this time. On Sunday, he got to the line 15 times. And then throughout the entire season, 10 plus times a night. So, you know, at 160 pounds and the size that he is, the physical beating that he takes every night, he's just a marvel. He's a physical marvel.
And of course, he's going against another great player in Vince Carter tonight. As Iverson now with 47. And if you want to look at the comparison, there is the story. Carter has not gone to the line, shooting 50% in a quiet 28 compared to Iverson's explosive 47. 5-point Philadelphia lead with 3.5.
He's getting at a good angle where he can play the glass. Now he's finally going to the line. He's 5 for 5 at this time. On Sunday, he got to the line 15 times. And then throughout the entire season, 10 plus times a night. So you know, at 160 pounds and the size that he is, the physical beating that he takes every night, he's just a marvel. He's a physical marvel.
And of course, he's going against another great player in Vince Carter tonight. As Iverson now with 47. And if you want to look at the comparison, there is the story. Carter has not gone to the line, shooting 50% in a quiet 28 compared to Iverson's explosive 47. 5-point Philadelphia lead with 3.5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Here's Antonio Davis out to Curry.
You got to stay home at Curry.
Snow won't let him take the shot. Oakley is open, and he hits at the shot clock buzzer as he's done all night. Oakley with 12 big points.
The thing I liked about Toronto, sure the big guys are making the shots, but the players are making the passes to the open man in ball reversal from one side of the floor to the other. It's been there all night.
Iverson guarded by Alvin Williams. Snow in the corner to McKee. 5 on the shot clock. Here is Snow on the drive. And Mutombo, and the shot clock expires. Mutombo got the rebound but could not get the shot up. And the Raptors will get the ball back. How intense is it for Larry Brown's Sixers and Lenny Wilkens Raptors? 4 players hit the floor on that shot.
Now remember, in all penetration tonight at the Toronto end of the floor, you have to be careful for the three-point shooting. You can see Snow lost his balance. The ball was short of the rim.
Pins in a bowling alley is what that looked like. The lead is 3 for the Sixers. 2:45 remaining.
Down screen for Carter. One-on-one from the top.
Over McKee. Misses the three-point attempt.
Iverson not only gives you assists, and steals, and points, the incredible factor is that he rebounds. On Sunday, he had 8. Tonight, he's got 4.
10 on the shot clock. 3-point lead for the 76ers. McKee stepping back and misses the 3. And Tyrone Hill, another big offensive rebound. That's 10 in the game for Hill. Very quietly doing the job off the glass.
Yeah, he's doing a terrific job. Main thing now, let's get some motion here if you're a Philly club.
And there's Iverson, and out there is Antonio Davis with under 2 minutes to go. In the fourth quarter, Iverson fires and off the rim, and McKee got the offensive rebound, and it's knocked away. And it's last touched by McKee. So the Raptors will get the ball with 1:52 to go and a 20-second timeout called by Lenny Wilkens.
Now at the Philadelphia end that time, you saw another screen and roll because it was Mutombo. Mutombo rolled right down the left side. The lane was wide open. The pass was not given to him, mainly because Toronto attacked Iverson as he came over the top of the screen, turned his back. He could not see Mutombo, who was open. Good timeout by Lenny Wilkens, because right now what you want to do is regroup and make sure you get a good look.
Taking a look at the series schedule, Game 3 will be Friday at Toronto. We'll be with you at 8 o'clock on TNT. Game 4 on NBC Sunday. And then if the Sixers hold on and win, there will be a Game 5. If necessary, a Game 6 next Wednesday and Friday in Philadelphia Wednesday, Toronto Friday. And that is the series schedule. Lenny Wilkens, whose Raptors beating the Knicks in round 1, now trying to take a 2-0 lead, but have to come from behind to do it. Carter setting it up. Iverson trying to deny Alvin Williams. There's plenty of time on the shot clock for the Raptors. And here is Carter going in on a scoop shot off the rim. Sixers have it. They're in no hurry.
And that was just excellent body defense by the defender who forced him into a poor percentage shot. And Philadelphia hung with those three-point shooters in the corner.
Iverson with 47 points. And Allen Iverson off the glass is fouled and has 49. So Allen Iverson responds after the Game 1 loss and has a chance now to tie the 76ers playoff record if he makes the free throw.
Now, how about this finish? Jump hook off the glass. This is just a beautiful move. He had nothing. He gave the reverse spin and then the ability to make the running hook.
He has made the last 14 points for the 76ers. And now add 15, and he has tied the 76er all-time playoff scoring record of 50 set by Billy Cunningham back in 1970. Alvin Williams short on the three. Antonio Davis fighting Tyrone Hill for the loose ball, and they're going to jump it up.
Now you have two warriors. When you have Hill and Antonio Davis, they both elevated. There was body contact, and then the fact that Hill was able to grab the ball to force a jump ball situation. A credit to him.
So Davis and Hill will jump. Tyrone Hill, a quiet hero tonight for the Sixers if they survive. Looking to even the best of 7 and 1 apiece.
Got to stay at home on Curry now.
Here is Curry hitting a three. So Del Curry hitting his third three-pointer of the game, cutting the lead to 3 again. So Curry doing the damage tonight, as he did in Game 1 when he scored 20 points. Very timely. Raptors 8 of 18 from 3. Down to 10 on the shot clock. 43 in the fourth quarter. Iverson pulls up, and he's just a club record with 52 points. What a performance tonight by Allen Iverson. This is one for the books. He has scored the last 17 for the Sixers. Curry misses the three, and guess who? The little guy gets the rebound.
He'll put his nose in there. That's why we bring out the point. He's in there all the time. Now, you like what they just did. See, Hill, when Curry opened up, Hill just jumped out on him and said he's not going to shoot the shot over the top of it.
Standing ovation, and listen to the crowd saluting the Sixers, particularly that man there. His all-time career high with 54 points, broken Billy Cunningham's playoff scoring record for the Sixers, and has scored the last 19 points for the Philadelphia 76ers, who are up by 7 with 15.9 and headed for a split of the first 2 games.
Whose side are you on?
With every NRL match every week, this is Fox Sports, where the game never ends.
Timeout situation. Toronto has only 1 left, and this place has not stopped its deafening roar as Allen Iverson has taken the game into his own hands, scoring the last 19 points. As the 76ers leading by 7, what can you say about this crowning performance tonight by number 3?
No, just spectacular. When you look at his year, first in scoring, first in steals, you know, and then he was tied for first in minutes played, 42 minutes a game with Finley. He's had 54 and 51 in 2 other games this year. And then tonight, with all of this pressure, of defending and getting a split in this series, and to do it, carry the team on his back. Just spectacular.
And the Iverson gets the steal.
How about that?
Lynch is fouled.
What a way to end.
Allen Iverson with the steal, tipping the ball, and Lynch is fouled. And this is one of the great virtuoso performances in NBA playoff history. We know about Michael Jordan, 63, the all-time playoff scoring leader. That happened in overtime. Elgin Baylor, the great Laker, had 61 in regulation. Wilt Chamberlain, Charles Barkley, our buddy, and Michael Jordan, all with 56 in the playoffs. And Allen Iverson with 54 points tonight as Lynch goes to the line.
Larry Brown is going to allow this foul shot to be taken, and then they will be substituting Ali for Iverson.
And he has played the entire game except for the last 14 seconds. Allen Iverson, one for the memory books. And what a table setter this is for the game upcoming between the Mavericks and the Spurs on TNT from Dallas as the Mavs try to get back in the series. What a night's work for Allen Iverson.
This weekend, round 12 of the Telstra Premiership live. From 5:30 Saturday, an NRL doubleheader as the Warriors attempt to silence the approaching Storm. Then at 7:30, will the Northern Eagles reach new heights over the Eels?
Great ball!
Then Sunday at 2, can the Raiders cause the upset of the season against the mighty Broncos?
This is quite incredible!
A weekend of live NRL action. The Telstra Premiership on Fox Sports 2.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. And the crowd on his feet, they have seen a brilliant performance tonight by Allen Iverson. The score was 77-75. The Sixers in front with 9 minutes left when Iverson went on his 19 points in a row to break it open. Curry from 3 and Carter, no basket. The foul before the shot with 8.8 on the clock. So the Philadelphia 76ers responding in a very tight game tonight, falling behind by 14 points in the second quarter, and it looked kind of shaky for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series because the defense is so tough. Rotations are tough. Shot blocking is here. We have three-point shooting at both ends of the floor. Lots of deflections, so no one can get like any type of a flow. It's just a great win for Philly.
Alvin Williams hit the 3, and that will do it. As in one of the great performances, Allen Iverson scoring 19 straight points down the stretch, breaking a game open, setting a 76er scoring record with 54 points. And the final score, the Sixers win it 97-92 to even the series at 1-all as we send it out to D. Lynham.
Thank you very much, Allen. A lot of people affectionately refer to you as the little guy, but could you come up any bigger for your team than you did this evening?
I hope I can. You know, I just thank God for just giving me the ability and put me in this situation for me to be able to come out here and compete night in and night out. Thank my teammates for always sticking with me. You know, every time we play a team and, you know, I don't shoot the ball well and don't have the game that I'm capable of having, you know, you hear people on TV and in the papers talking about a guy being able to stop me and all that stuff, but guys struggle sometimes in this game because we play with the greatest players in the world, and I'm just fortunate enough to be able to come out here and have a good game, but without my teammates, none of this would have been possible.
Of the 54, there was a stretch where you scored 19 straight for your team. It was a 2-point game before you did that. Would you have been aware that you did that at that time and what was going on?
No, I felt like I got into a little rhythm. I mean, I had been going and getting in little rhythms and little spurts throughout the playoffs, but I could never really stick with it. And tonight, you know, I kept shooting the ball and I missed a couple, but then I make a couple. And, you know, my teammates always encouraged me to keep shooting the ball, never get frustrated, keep fighting for them, and they keep fighting for me. And, you know, fortunately, we were able to get the win.
Series feels a whole lot different than it did after game 1, doesn't it?
Definitely. I mean, You know, you lose a lot of sleep when you lose a game. You know, everybody think because you play at home, you're supposed to win, but those guys got pride, they got heart, and they got a God-given ability as well. They come in and play a better game than us in our home, then they can get out of here. And that's the same thing with us. It's important for us to go to Toronto and feel like we can win and come back home to these great fans and be able to do it all over again.
All right, thanks. Congratulations. Thanks for treating us to one of the all-time great playoff performers.
Thanks, Dick.
All right, Alan. Dick?
And a personal high of 54 points in his career. Shot 54% from the field. Vince Carter led the Raptors with 28. Our thanks to our producer, Jeff Benke, our gamer, director, Bill McCoy, Marnie Aronoff, our statistician. Coming up next, Game 3, the Spurs and Mavericks. For Hubie Brown and D. Lynham, Dick Stockton saying goodnight from Philadelphia. Now we send you to Bob Neal in Dallas.